Have you ever noticed how your energy shifts the moment you step into certain rooms? The smile on people's faces doesn't fool you. The noise of laughter doesn't silence what your spirit is already whispering inside. Something here isn't right. That heaviness you feel is not random. It's a divine alarm sounding deep within your soul. Chosen ones were never created to fit in everywhere. And that's why the more you try to blend into crowds, the more you feel like you don't belong. It's not rejection, it's revelation. It's not insecurity, it's instruction. God himself marked you as different, and he refuses to let you be swallowed by what was never meant to carry your spirit. While others can mingle without resistance, you carry a fire that clashes with what is false. Your very presence exposes what people try to hide. That is why chosen ones cannot remain in every circle, cannot walk with everyone, cannot share their light with those who would only drain it. And if you've ever asked yourself, why do I feel so out of place? Tonight you'll discover the truth. The separation you feel is not a punishment, it's preparation, it's protection. It's proof that your life is set apart for something far greater than what ordinary eyes can see. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand why chosen ones cannot be surrounded by too many people, you'll never again see your solitude as emptiness. You'll see it as strategy from heaven itself. And before we go deeper, I want you to pause for a moment. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment 99 below. Why 99? Because Jesus said he would leave the 99 to go after the one. That's how precious you are to him. You were set apart, sought out, and chosen. And tonight, you're about to understand exactly why. There is something inside the chosen that no human eye can detect, no scientific instrument can measure, and no logical explanation can fully define. It is the silent alarm of the Spirit, a divine sensitivity woven into your very being. While others move through life blind to invisible forces, you feel them pressing against your soul. You sense when a smile is hiding poison, when a handshake conceals betrayal, when a room filled with laughter carries the weight of darkness. And though you may not have words for it in the moment, your spirit already knows. This radar is not paranoia. It's not you overthinking. It's heaven itself equipping you to walk safely through a world full of unseen traps. When you walk into a place that looks normal but feels heavy, that's the silent alarm warning you that the atmosphere does not match your assignment. When you meet someone who speaks kindly, yet something deep inside you feels uneasy, that's your soul refusing to be deceived by appearances. God gave you this alarm because he knows your destiny is too precious to be diluted by counterfeit connections. And here is the mystery. This alarm often makes you appear strange to others. They don't feel what you feel, so they assume you're being distant, overly cautious, or even judgmental. But what they cannot see is that you are responding to a frequency they are deaf to. It's like standing near a fire alarm that only your ears can hear. Others laugh while you cover your ears in pain. That is what it's like to carry the gift of spiritual discernment. Chosen ones live with a heart that rejects contamination. You cannot stay in places that compromise your peace, because your peace is not just an emotion. It's a signal of alignment with heaven. The moment your peace is disturbed, God is alerting you. This is not your table. This is not your crowd. This is not your assignment. And when you ignore this inner warning, you feel it immediately. Your energy drains. Your clarity fades. Your spirit feels suffocated, because you were never meant to settle in atmospheres where God's presence has already withdrawn. And here's the paradox. What looks like rejection from the outside is actually divine protection from the inside. When people distance themselves from you without reason, when groups fail to embrace you, when circles exclude you, don't mourn. Don't chase after them. Don't lower your vibration to earn a seat in rooms that your spirit already refuses. That closed door is a shield. That silence is safety. That separation is God saying, I am keeping you pure because I know where you are going, and not everyone can go there with you. But let's take it deeper. Sometimes the alarm doesn't only point outward. it points inward. Have you ever felt a sudden heaviness even in your own thoughts, as if something foreign slipped into your spirit? That's the alarm telling you that you picked up an energy that was never yours. Perhaps from a conversation, a social interaction, even a careless word spoken by someone near you. And because you are chosen, you don't just hear words, you absorb their weight. You don't just see actions, you feel the intentions behind them. This is why isolation often becomes your survival. You need space to release what is not yours and return to the purity of what God placed within you. This silent alarm is both a gift and a burden. A gift because it keeps you from walking blindly into snares. A burden because it makes it nearly impossible for you to live like everyone else. You cannot fake comfort where your spirit feels danger. You cannot laugh at jokes that carry poison. You cannot relax in atmospheres where demons dance freely. And that's why some people will misunderstand you. They will say you're too serious, too sensitive, or too intense. But in reality, you're simply tuned to the frequency of heaven. And let me tell you this, the more you honor that alarm, the stronger it becomes. Ignore it, and you'll suffer consequences that break your spirit. But obey it, and you'll walk through life protected, preserved, and aligned with divine timing. Your discernment will sharpen, your clarity will increase, and soon, what others call instinct or gut feeling will reveal itself for what it truly is, the voice of God guarding your destiny. This is why the chosen cannot be surrounded by too many people, because every presence carries a weight, every atmosphere carries a spirit, and not every spirit is safe for your calling. You were set apart, and set apart means selective. Not everyone deserves access. Not every voice deserves space. Not every connection deserves covenant. And here's the question you need to ask yourself tonight. How many times has your alarm gone off, and you silenced it because you didn't want to look different? How many times have you ignored the heaviness in your spirit just to keep the peace with people who never truly carried peace within them? Every time you do that, you risk what God is building in you. But every time you honor the alarm, you prove to heaven that you value your calling more than your comfort. So I ask you, what is more dangerous? Being misunderstood for walking away, or betraying your destiny by staying where you don't belong? And this, my friend, is only the beginning. Because if you thought the silent alarm was powerful, wait until you understand the deeper reasons why chosen ones can never walk with just anyone. The next revelation will take you even further. Are you ready? Chosen ones are not wired for shallow waters. You were never designed to skim across the surface of life, pretending that what is fake is enough. You carry a soul that dives too deep to be satisfied with masks, small talk, or empty exchanges. Where others can laugh at meaningless conversations and leave untouched, you leave drained, because your spirit cannot thrive where truth is absent. You don't just experience life, you absorb it. Love burns through you with fire. Pain cuts through you with silence. Lies scrape against your spirit like sandpaper, while truth, even in its rawest form, feels like healing rain. And this intensity, though misunderstood, is not your weakness. It is your compass. To the shallow, your depth feels dangerous. They cannot understand why you weep over things they ignore. They cannot fathom why your laughter fills a room with weight while theirs evaporates into the air. They cannot grasp why your prayers sound like cries from another realm, while theirs stay rehearsed and hollow. You were created to live in the depths where God's presence dwells, not in the surface games that humanity loves to play. And this very nature makes you incompatible with shallow environments. Think about it. Shallow people thrive on gossip, on appearances, on quick thrills that dissolve the moment the noise fades. They love illusions more than reality, masks more than faces, performance more than authenticity. But when you walk into such a space, your spirit shakes the ground. You don't even need to speak. Your very presence confronts the emptiness. You may try to blend in, to lower your fire, to silence your sensitivity. But no matter how much you shrink, the light still leaks out, exposing everything shallow around you. That is why some people feel uncomfortable near you. You don't even call them out, yet they feel convicted, because your intensity is a mirror they cannot bear to face. And here lies the truth. People will call you too much because they are too little. They will label you too emotional, too spiritual, or too sensitive, not because you are wrong, but because your depth reveals their lack. They would rather dismiss your intensity than confront their own emptiness. But chosen one, you cannot apologize for feeling deeply. You cannot water down what heaven poured into you. You were designed as an ocean, not a puddle. Your intensity is spiritual sensitivity. It is the proof that your heart is alive in a world numb to what truly matters. When you love with covenant. When you hurt with honesty. When you worship, heaven itself listens. And when you discern, you pierce through illusions that others willingly entertain. This is why shallow circles cannot keep you. They will say you are difficult, when in truth you are just real. They will say you complicate things, when in reality you refuse to live in lies. They will say you overthink, but the truth is you oversee. You see beyond the surface where they dare not look. But here's the weight of it. Carrying this intensity is exhausting. Because while others brush off betrayals, you carry the wound until God heals it. While others laugh off injustice, you burn with holy anger. While others settle for counterfeit love, you wait, often alone, because your soul refuses anything less than what aligns with your destiny. That's why loneliness often wraps around you, not because you are unworthy, but because your worth demands a space not easily found. And yet, this very intensity is your weapon. It is what allows you to sense danger before it strikes. It is what enables you to discern lies dressed as kindness. It is what equips you to pray with fire that shifts atmospheres. It is what makes your love healing and your presence unforgettable. Shallow people cannot understand this because they don't feel the weight of life the way you do. They would rather float. You were born to dive. Chosen one, don't despise your intensity. Don't curse your sensitivity. Don't mistake your depth for dysfunction. You are not broken. You are built differently. God hardwired your soul to pick up what others ignore because your calling requires vision beyond the surface. To be chosen is to carry a spirit that refuses to be numbed. It is to live in a way that demands depth when the world only offers shallowness. And this is why you cannot remain long in the company of the shallow. Their conversations will drain you. Their games will disgust you. Their illusions will suffocate you. You will always long for more truth, more presence, more meaning, more God. And that longing will separate you, not because you hate people, but because your soul cannot breathe in shallow waters. So the next time someone tells you, you're too intense, let them say it. Let them misunderstand. Because they are confessing something without even realizing it. They are admitting that your presence reveals depths they are too afraid to touch. And while they run back to the safety of the surface, you will keep diving into the waters where God speaks in whispers only the deep can hear. And yet, here is the real question that will burn in your heart. If your depth offends the shallow, what happens when God places you in circles that match your spirit? If your intensity unsettles the wrong people, how much more will it ignite the right ones? That, chosen one, is a revelation waiting to unfold. And we're only getting started. From the very beginning, something about your life has carried a weight that others could not understand. While children around you played freely, you often felt as though invisible eyes were watching you, guiding you, separating you. There were moments you couldn't explain, times when you wanted to blend in, but life itself refused to let you. While others walked straight paths, yours twisted with detours, interruptions, and delays that seemed unfair. Yet each interruption was not a mistake. It was a marker. Each delay was not wasted. It was preparation. You are not ordinary because your destiny is not ordinary. You are kingdom level, and kingdoms are not built overnight. Since childhood, the signs have been there. You noticed patterns that others ignored. You felt heaviness in atmospheres that others called harmless. You asked questions too deep for your age, and instead of fitting in, you stood out. And while the world may have called it strangeness, in heaven it was called separation. God hid you in plain sight, even when you didn't understand why. That friend who suddenly betrayed you, that opportunity that slipped away, that path that closed just as you stepped toward it, it all looked like loss, but in truth it was preservation. God was pruning your life, cutting away what could not grow with you into the destiny He reserved. And here lies the secret. The chosen often live in tension between two worlds, the one they see with their eyes and the one they feel burning inside. Outwardly, you may appear delayed, behind, or overlooked, but inwardly, you sense the weight of a stage not yet built, a mission not yet revealed. You feel the quiet pull of eternity, even while you walk through ordinary days. And that's why frustration has followed you, because your spirit knows you were made for more, even when your circumstances scream less. But chosen one, hear this. God isolates to elevate. When He cuts you off from the noise, when He pushes you into seasons of loneliness, when He takes you away from predictable paths, it is not because you're forgotten, it's because He is maturing your faith. Others may rush ahead into temporary success, but you, the chosen, must be trained in silence. While they build platforms, you are building endurance. While they chase applause, you are learning the voice of God. And when the time comes, your foundation will be unshakable, because it was not built on the shifting sands of man's approval, but on the eternal rock of His purpose. And here's the urgency. The longer you resist this calling, the heavier your life feels, because chosen ones cannot escape what they are. You can run to crowds, but you will still feel alone. You can drown yourself in distractions, but you will still hear the whisper, "This isn't who you are." You can try to live a normal life, but normalcy will break you, because your destiny was never normal. That restlessness you carry, that dissatisfaction with mediocrity, it is not ingratitude, it is alignment. You are being drawn to what eyes have not yet seen. The separation may hurt, yes. It stings when you lose people. It wounds when you feel misunderstood. It crushes when you sacrifice comfort for calling. But every tear you've cried in secret has watered the ground of your future. Every lonely night has been a classroom where God trained you in silence. Every unanswered prayer was not neglect, but strategy. God was not ignoring you. He was shaping you for impact so great that premature exposure would have destroyed you. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and forgotten in prison. To the world, he was a tragedy. But to heaven, he was a seed being buried before his season to rise. Think of David, overlooked by his family, sent to fields of obscurity. No crown, no recognition, only sheep and solitude. Yet in that field, God was forging the heart of a king. Think of Jesus himself. 30 years hidden before 3 years revealed. 30 years of preparation for 3 years of transformation. The chosen walk through long silences because the noise of destiny cannot be rushed. And now consider your own life. The detours, the delays, the times you thought, God, why me? Why can't my journey be simple? The answer is clear. Your mission demands a foundation deeper than average. Your crown demands a weight your shoulders must first be trained to carry. If God let you rush into destiny too soon, it would crush you. But He loves you too much to let that happen. So instead, He isolates, He matures, He preserves, until the appointed time. And here's where it becomes breathtaking. The stage already exists. The seats are already prepared. The audience that needs your light is already waiting. But heaven has placed a veil over it until you are ready to step into it. That's why the doors haven't opened yet. Not because you are unworthy, but because you are chosen. And chosen things must be unveiled at the right time, not exposed at the wrong one. So the next time you feel the sting of separation, remember this. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. You are not being overlooked. You are being overshadowed by God's hand, hiding you until the world is ready to see what He has planted. Your calling sets you apart. And one day soon, what seemed like endless delays will look like perfect timing. But here's the question that lingers, the one that keeps your spirit awake at night. If this is only the training ground, how powerful must the mission be once the veil lifts? And when that moment arrives, will you be ready to carry it? That is where we are heading next. There comes a moment in the life of every chosen one when the world suddenly falls silent. Friends disappear, opportunities dry up, and the once busy roads of your journey narrow into lonely paths that seem to stretch into nothingness. This is the desert. It is not made of sand and scorching heat, but of silence, stillness, and the aching question, God, where are you? It feels dry. It feels endless. It feels like punishment. And yet, it is none of those things. The desert is not where you are abandoned. It is where you are refined. It is heaven's classroom, God's secret workshop, the holy ground where He strips away the noise of the world so that His voice becomes unmistakable. For the chosen, deserts are not accidents. They are appointments. Look back at the story of Moses. 40 years wandering through wilderness, carrying the weight of exile, hidden from the stage he was born for. To men, it looked like wasted time. To heaven, it was training for leadership. Look at David, sent away to watch sheep in forgotten fields while his brothers lived in the spotlight. His harp and sling were not random. They were desert tools that would one day crown him king. And Jesus himself, before he healed a single sick person or preached a single sermon, was led by the Spirit into a desert of temptation and silence for 40 days. If the Son of God himself could not step into destiny without first enduring the desert, how much more must we, the chosen, embrace it? The desert breaks illusions. It reveals what you trust in when there is nothing left to hold. When the applause fades, when the phone stops ringing, when you feel unseen and unheard, that's when your true foundation is revealed. Are you standing on sand or on the rock? Are you depending on people to sustain you or on the breath of God? In the desert, motives are purified. Hidden pride, selfish ambition, the craving for recognition, all of it is burned away under the relentless heat of silence. And though it hurts, the stripping is necessary, because you cannot carry false motives into a holy mission. And here is the paradox. The very place you think is killing you is the place saving you. The desert teaches endurance. It stretches you beyond your own strength until you collapse into God's strength. It trains your ears to hear whispers that the noise of crowds would have drowned out. It sharpens your discernment, because in solitude, every distraction screams louder, and you learn how to recognize the voice that truly matters. In the desert, you realize that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Many despise their desert seasons because they feel barren. But barrenness is not always death. It is often incubation. Seeds are buried in silence long before they bloom. When nothing seems to move on the outside, everything is shifting on the inside. Your desert is the soil where faith takes root. Every prayer you whisper into the emptiness is a seed. Every tear you shed in loneliness waters that seed. And though you cannot see it, beneath the surface, your destiny is germinating. This is why God allows the chosen to feel isolated. Not because He wants you to suffer, but because He wants you to depend completely on Him. If everyone stayed, you would mistake their presence for your strength. If doors never closed, you would confuse opportunities with destiny. If life always felt comfortable, you would never discover the supernatural endurance He placed inside you. The desert removes every crutch until all you have left is God. And that is when you finally realize He was always enough. But let me tell you something urgent. The desert is not endless. It is seasonal. Just as the night eventually yields to the dawn, so too does the desert eventually give way to rivers. What feels eternal is temporary, and what feels silent is sacred. God will not keep you in the desert 1 second longer than necessary. When the refining is complete, when your motives are pure, when your faith is strong, when your identity is unshakable, then the desert shifts. The silence breaks. The doors swing open, and you emerge not as the same person who entered, but as someone forged in fire, purified like gold, and ready to carry the weight of destiny. And here lies the mystery that keeps chosen ones awake at night. If this desert, with all its pain, silence, and isolation, is only the preparation, then how great must the mission be once the preparation ends? If God allows such intensity in the hidden place, what will happen when the veil finally lifts and the world sees what He has been shaping all along? That question burns in your spirit, and the answer is closer than you think. There is a hidden mercy that surrounds every chosen one. A mercy that rarely feels like mercy in the moment. It is the mercy of separation. At first it feels cruel. The people you thought would stay walk away. The ones you trusted turn cold. Rooms that once welcomed you now close their doors without warning. And in the silence that follows, you are tempted to believe you have been abandoned. But look closer. This is not abandonment. This is divine protection. God is not punishing you. He is preserving you. Separation is heaven's firewall. It keeps what is unclean from touching what is holy. While you cry over the friendships that crumbled, God is celebrating the distractions that could no longer survive near your destiny. While you mourn the doors that slammed shut, heaven is rejoicing that no counterfeit blessing will derail the promise. Every separation you endured, no matter how painful, was an act of divine love shielding your assignment from contamination. Toxic connections are dangerous to chosen ones because you are deeply impressionable, not in the sense of weakness, but in the sense of sensitivity. You absorb atmospheres. You carry weights that are not yours. You pick up the motives behind words and the spirits behind actions. That's why God cannot allow you to be entangled with everyone. The wrong voices can distort your clarity. The wrong hands can contaminate your gift. The wrong company can weaken your fire until it flickers instead of burns. So, when God sees danger that you cannot, He steps in with the scalpel of separation. And here is what few will ever tell you. Some of the people who left your life were never truly leaving. They were being removed. God saw conversations whispered in shadows, intentions hidden behind smiles, envy dressed as friendship. He saw what you could not see, and He acted on your behalf. The separation felt like loss, but in truth it was rescue. He was cutting cords you were too loyal to cut, chains you were too blind to recognize. And though your heart broke, your destiny was preserved. But divine separation is not just about who leaves, it's also about who remains. God never separates without the promise of replacement. For every Judas who walks away, there is a John who stays. For every Delilah that fails, there is a destiny helper prepared. At the right time, God aligns you with divine connections, people who will sharpen your spirit instead of dull it, who will fan your fire instead of extinguish it, who will pray for you in secret instead of plot against you in silence. These are not ordinary friendships. They are divine alliances. And when the time is right, God orchestrates these meetings with precision so perfect, you will know it was heaven's design. Here is the urgency. Many chosen ones sabotage their own preservation by chasing what God removed. You beg for the friendship back, not realizing it was poison. You mourn the job that ended, not knowing it would have stolen your purpose. You cry over the relationship that collapsed, forgetting that if it continued, it would have derailed your crown. Stop resurrecting what God buried. Stop fighting for what heaven already removed. The separation was your shield. To return to it is to walk willingly into destruction. The truth is, chosen ones cannot be accessible to everyone. Your spirit is too costly, your mission too fragile, your destiny too rare. You must be selective, not because you are arrogant, but because you are chosen. You don't have the luxury of reckless company. You don't have the freedom to entertain every voice. Your circle must be refined because your calling demands focus. And the moment you embrace this truth, you will stop grieving separation and start thanking God for it. Remember this: divine separation is never forever isolation. God does not call you to walk alone eternally. He calls you to walk selectively until He sends the right ones. When they arrive, you will know, because instead of draining you, they will pour into you. Instead of distracting you, they will direct you closer to Him. Instead of weakening your fire, they will guard it like their own. These are not just friends, they are destiny protectors, handpicked by heaven to walk with you into the promise. So, chosen one, the next time someone walks away, the next time a door slams, the next time a circle closes, don't collapse in despair. Ask yourself, what did God just protect me from? Because hidden in every separation is a rescue. Buried in every goodbye is a shield. And beyond every removal lies a replacement that will honor, not hinder, your mission. But here is the lingering mystery. If God has gone to such lengths to protect you from the wrong people, then how powerful must your destiny be once He surrounds you with the right ones? If the shield of separation is this strong, how unstoppable will you become when heaven finally releases the alliances prepared for you? That, chosen one, is the revelation waiting on the horizon. You are not antisocial. You are not rejected. You are preserved. Every distance, every silence, every closed door has been heaven's way of protecting you. Chosen one, your separation is sacred. It is the fingerprint of God over your destiny, His perfect strategy to keep your heart pure, your spirit strong, and your mission unstoppable. You may not see it now, but one day when the veil lifts, when the promise manifests, you will understand why you couldn't sit at every table, why you couldn't walk with every crowd, why you could never stay where your spirit screamed, no. It was never abandonment. It was alignment. Your solitude was never empty. It was holy preparation. And hear me, when the fullness of time comes, the very spaces you once wept in will testify that you were set apart for greatness. The voices that doubted you will be silenced by the evidence of God's hand on your life. The same silence that once made you question your worth will roar as proof that you were being forged, not forgotten. So rise tonight with new eyes. See your isolation not as chains, but as wings. See your losses not as failures, but as divine shields. See your journey not as delay, but as strategy. You are chosen, and chosen ones are never ordinary. They are heaven's weapon, God's secret, destiny's fire. If this word pierced your soul, don't stay silent.